What's up, everyone, and welcome to the weekly Q&A. For our first question, Lil God asks if Mark Hamill will return to play Luke in an episode of the Ahsoka series.
I'm going to say yes.
Really?
I think so.
I was going to say no. I don't think Mark Hamill wants to come back as Luke again after that big reveal, but I mean, I guess if there's gonna be more Grogu related stuff, I'll let it slide. Not that I don't want it, but like I don't know, just like it was so.
What does Grogu have to do with anything, right? You just gotta pull Baby Yoda into everything.
He's with Luke.
Oh, that's true.
But I don't know, just like all the trouble going to make his face look like his face, and with the deepfake technology and all that. I don't know if they're gonna go through all that again.
I think that, especially with Dave Filoni writing the Ahsoka show and he's like the showrunner for that, I could see him wanting to do that.
I just like Luke and Ahsoka meeting, even if it's not for the first time. There's a lot riding on that.
You're not wrong. It's something that we get that question all the time. Like, have Ahsoka and Luke ever met? What do you think that conversation was like? And it's something that people would want to see. And it would be a really interesting conversation. And with Dave Filoni as the head writer, and like Ahsoka being so much, not just George Lucas's creation, but also his, and he's been kind of the custodian of Ahsoka for so long, I could see him wanting to do that. And I'm sure that even if Mark Hamill were hesitant to do it, they'd get him on board. And the technology is only going to get better.
You're right.
So,
and they did say that in the behind the scenes thing.
It is something that I think you're probably right to guess that I would say no, it's unlikely, but I'm leaning towards it's slightly likely. Just knowing, I don't know, the way that Filoni treats Ahsoka, I could see him wanting to give her that big moment in live action on screen. It seems like there's an opportunity there. But it also, I agree with you, there's like some high risk.
Very high risk, I think.
Yeah, it's got to be good. But I think I have enough trust.
The way that the Filoni and Favreau talked about Luke being in the final episode of Mando season 2, it was like, it had to be Luke. So I don't see them having that same gut reaction of Luke has to be in this episode or this episode of Ahsoka.
Yeah, I see that point as well. And I think you're right. You can't lean on Luke too much. You can't have him pop into like, oh, it's the Luke episode of every single one of these live action series. Yeah, you can't do that or else they become less and less special. I don't know. The idea of seeing them chat together is a good one, I think.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if it were like through the Force somehow.
That'd be interesting.
Like a little Force Skype meeting.
Or even just a mental conversation. It's interesting.
Yeah. Or maybe Ahsoka would just say something in passing that tells us that, yes, they've met. Yes, she knows who he is.
Yeah. But then is that going to be frustrating to be like, oh, but what did they say? What did they say to each other? She met her master's son.
Like, I think Dave Filoni, of all people, wants to keep that a mystery.
I don't know.
Jordan Catley wants to know, Luke Skywalker or Plo Koon?
I mean, as much as I think it would have been fun to have Plo Koon, I keep running through my mind just what would my reaction have been if it were Plo Koon, and I think it would have been big ol' like excited gasp when he took the hood off. But then I would have been like, wait a second, that's a little silly. Like, I think Luke was obviously the better option.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, if we're going off of the last question, it would make more sense to bring Plo Koon back and then have him be in the Ahsoka show.
Which they also have a connection to each other. So yeah, like Dave Filoni loves Plo Koon. But that's why it was such a brilliant move to be like, I know what's going to throw fans off the scent.
Yeah.
Tell them Plo Koon is in there.
He knows the fandom so well.
And every fan is going to be like, that makes so much sense. But
what a madman.
If you're going to have a Jedi show up to rescue Grogu, then yeah, Luke is the choice in that moment in time.
Michael Kennedy asks when we're going to learn more about the Book of Boba Fett.
I think we actually have, if not a straight up answer to this, at least a good time frame, but Disney Plus Day is going to be on November 12th. And then a week after that, starting on November 19th, and then the 20th and 21st is D23. So if it doesn't happen within that week, I don't know. And that's a month before the Book of Boba Fett will about be coming out, because they said Christmas 2021.
I think we'll get a release date and maybe a teaser trailer. I would hope. Yeah, if that's going to be like a month before the show's going to come out, I would hope we'd get a teaser.
And I feel like that pretty much matches up with the way marketing happened for both Mandalorian seasons. It's like we got 2 trailers, I think, and the first one seemed like it was a little late. We might get something in October. That could be like the teaser and release date, and then the main trailer will be in November. But if we haven't had anything by November 12th, I think that's like it'll definitely happen here.
Yeah. Hope so. I'm excited. Sparto Sanchez wants to know if Ahsoka is reestablishing the Jedi Wayseeker role from the High Republic era.
Potentially, but I think like accidentally. And so this is all basically coming from Orla Jarini, the High Republic Jedi Wayseeker, and that's a role of like basically a Jedi that just kind of steps away from the Order and does whatever the Force calls them to do. One Wayseeker was like a pop star on Alderaan, and that's what the Force called them to do. Orla just kind of wanders the galaxy and helps people who need it.
I could see that being kind of Ahsoka's role going forward. But it's also like, this to me just sounds like an excuse for the Jedi to basically retire from the Order and do whatever they feel like doing.
The Force is calling me to become a pop star. Like,
yeah.
Okay, Hank, calm down. So Ahsoka, I think that maybe they modeled Orla off of Ahsoka because she wears a white cloak. She has white lightsabers. There are some very definite similarities there. I don't think that Ahsoka is now in her like period going, I'm going to be a Wayseeker. I think it's just kind of, she is following the Force, and she is going around helping people who need it. But that's also basically what Luke seems to be doing at that point in time. He heard the call of a child that needed help, and he went and he helped. So yeah, that just might be what the Jedi are in this like 5 years. The 2 Jedi that we know of. There's 5 years after the Battle of Endor, and they're kind of Wayseekers. Yeah,
I mean, after Ahsoka left the Order, she just became Ahsoka, and that's it. So I don't think they would put a name to it and like call her a Wayseeker. Right. I feel like that's just more of a High Republic thing to have a title, a fancy title for it.
Right. So like, no, I'm just Ahsoka, and I'm helping people who need it.
SD Sick Hero asks which Visions short we're most looking forward to, and if we could get a second season or a live-action version.
I'm kind of torn between 2. So after watching Gurren Lagann and Promare, I'm really excited about the Trigger shorts. So that's the Elder and the Twins. The Twins looks really exciting and looks exactly like Promare. So there's that one, and I'm also really excited for the Duel, the black and white one. That was the one that in the trailer I think like made me perk up the most. It looks so visually just cool.
I think I'm most excited for the Twins after getting that little teaser trailer, and the rock opera.
That one looks really fun.
Yeah, that's. What was the title on that one?
Tatooine Rhapsody. Yeah,
Tatooine Rhapsody. I think that one's just going to be a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see pod racing again.
I don't think we're going to get any live action version of this, nor should we. Because like the whole idea is that it's anime. And now will we get a second season? Maybe. Like if this does really well, then I would say, yeah, probably. They might, just get more studios or approach the same studios and say, let's do it again.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility, depending on, like you said, how well this does. Because I'm sure there are tons of studios out there that are like, yes, please, I would like to play in the Star Wars sandbox. But I could also see this just being a one-off, like, we wanted to do this and we want to make it special, and it's just these episodes.
I think that is the plan for now. I don't think they're going into this like The Bad Batch, where they knew there was going to be a season 2 and they've been working on it for a while. I think they're just experimenting with visions, and they're going to say, let's see how this does. And if it really gets a good response, then yeah, let's do it again. That's it for our patron questions. If you're a patron and you didn't see your question answered here, just head over to Patreon, where we leave every submitted question a written response. If you're not a patron, you can learn more by following the link in the description. We have tons of other rewards like audio commentaries for the films and every new Star Wars series premiering on Disney+. We also record video reactions to every new series as we watch them for the first time. We're doing book clubs to discuss every new Star Wars book as they release. We have behind-the-scenes content, comic reactions every Wednesday, and more. All of that is available right now on our Patreon if you're interested.
On to YouTube questions. Jin Kwan asks if Omega will be getting her own armor in The Bad Batch.
I think so. I think she should.
I think, yeah, like especially if there's like a little time jump between the end of season 1 and season 2, it would be cool if she was like, check out my new digs, my new armor that someone may have made for her, or maybe she makes it herself. I don't know how she would get it.
It does seem like one of those things where, you know, how Ezra in between seasons 2 and 3 just had a character model change, and Ahsoka at some point during the Clone Wars, just her character model changes. So I think that it might just happen in between seasons at some point. But I don't know, The Bad Batch also seems to have a higher budget than normal for Star Wars animation. So it could be something where over the course of a season, just stuff gets added to her. I think that would be really fun. I mean, she got her light bow weapon, energy bow, and so we can just keep on stacking new gear on her.
I also don't want her to have to grow up too fast, even though she's kind of already having to do that. But I also feel like as a way for them to keep her young, keep her innocence, maybe they won't put armor on her, but she does have a weapon.
She has a weapon, yeah, and if they're gonna continue to bring her on missions, which is what she wants, then give her some protection.
Yeah. Cypher Foxy wants to know if Ekko will get a new arm or arm switch-outs or something.
So I'm kind of surprised that didn't happen in season 1, because and who knows if this is going to happen at all. This is one of those things where maybe you read too much into something, but there was like a bust of Ekko, like a maquette that was revealed, and he has a completely different arm. It's got fingers. It's not his little drill bit.
Yeah.
The astromech plug-in port. Mm-hmm. So I was expecting him to get one at some point in time, but I guess maybe that'll happen in season 2.
It could be another one of those things where he just has multiple arms.
It's true. It might just happen. We might get to season 2 and it's just like, he got a new arm, 3PO style. Yeah. And now we don't know who he is.
I like the idea of him having like a utility belt with all of his arms.
Just like dangling off of it.
Yeah. No, they're like collapsible arms. So he can like whip one out and change it out if he needs it.
I kind of like the idea of him having an arm similar to L3. I always love when she's on Kessel and she like plugs her finger into something and then like detaches the finger and still has the rest of her arm. I was like, oh, that's super cool. So if you got something like that where every finger were something different.
Yeah. I mean, L3 by design, it was supposed to be like if an astromech droid were to design itself and be the most ingenious design for a droid.
Yeah, just whatever she wanted, she just kept adding stuff to it. So Ekko could do something like that.
Yeah. Dan23 asks if we'll see a TIE Fighter prototype before the actual TIE Fighter in the Bad Batch.
Before the end of season 1, I would have guessed that we would just go from like Clone Wars stuff to all Imperial stuff. That we would go from clone troopers to stormtroopers and V-Wings to TIE Fighters and Venators to Imperial class. But now that we've gotten TK troopers, which I love, yeah, I'm like, let's see some more of that transition time. Let's see something that we've maybe never seen before. It could be the TIE Fighter prototype, which is very close to just a TIE Fighter. Or we can see like a V-Wing, but with TIE Fighter wings or something. I don't know. It would be cool to keep experimenting and exploring what we see at this point in time.
Yeah. If we don't see an actual prototype flying around, it'd be cool to at least, I don't know, have the plans for one on a screen somewhere so we can point at it and be like, hey, there's the prototype for the ship we're about to see. And maybe they could just mention that, hey, we're working on these new ships. Here's a prototype.
It would be also interesting to see TK troopers or whoever maybe object to the fact that there's no hyperdrive and no shield generator, or like actually see how the Empire deals with that kind of stuff.
I would assume anyone talking back to anyone in the Empire is kicked out. Like, oh, you don't like our ship designs? Get out of here.
I think being kicked out is generous.
Yeah. Aries Storm wants to know if we'll see the clone of the Zillow Beast in Mount Tantus.
You know, people ask almost every week, what happened to the Zillow Beast and the idea that Palpatine wanted to clone it. And, you know, that was something that I thought we would never, ever go back to. It was just a thing Palpatine threw out there. But you know what? Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see it in Mount Tantus, even if it's just like a claw or the hand, something that we're like, oh, that's a Zillow Beast thing. And even if we don't see anything come from it, be like, okay, we at least know where it went and maybe the project failed. I think that would be a fun Easter egg.
Yeah, I agree. I think just like a little hint at it would be cool. Maybe someone in the background is testing some armor that's made out of the scales or something. Because the thing was that they were
lightsaber resistant.
Lightsaber resistant, right. So.
And Palpatine's like, oh, I'd like to look into that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, with Order 66 done, he doesn't really need that anymore.
True. Yeah, I don't think we'll see it. It would be cool if we did, but I don't think we'll see anything about the Zillow Beast again.
I'm hopeful for a little Easter egg reference of just like, yeah, it was here, but we canceled the project. That's all the time we have for questions today. If you want to leave a question for next week's video, just put it in the comments below or sign up for Patreon to join our weekly Q&A discussion. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch.
And as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.